Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us here at Inner Peace Counseling Services. Sherry's not here with us today. She's out under the weather. We're not going to say sick because we don't want to classify her as sick, but she's a little under the weather, so she will not be here with us today. So it's just Tasha and Angela.
Hello.
And today we wanted to talk a little bit about our lives as we transition away from transitions, because the past few months we've been talking about transitions and how to best adjust in moments of change. And now that we're transitioning from those discussions, we want to start talking about building your best life, right? And living your best life. And we want to start talking about what it looks like to really create your own life manifesto. And basically a manifesto is a set of beliefs that we live by. And sometimes we don't realize that we live by beliefs.
Right.
And then we have to change them. That's what we're here for. As therapists, we end up helping people change their belief systems when they come in with very negative and maladaptive beliefs. But we want to talk today about positive thoughts and beliefs in our practice manifesto to give you an idea of what it means to really have a life manifesto that we live by.
One of the things when we think about inner peace is just that. It is an attempt to create inner peace in your life. So with our manifesto, I'll show you a brief picture. On the camera there. And so at some point you'll see this on the website. You probably, if you've been on our website, have already seen our ebook that explains the manifesto. And what we haven't put up yet is actually the poster. So at some point we'll have a 8x10 that you can print off yourself. And at another point, then we'll actually sell the posters and other things related to our manifesto. But one of the things we want to talk about today is one aspect of it. And I think there are 13 statements on here. But the main one we're going to talk about today is peace is evasive. You have to go after it. And so we want to talk to you a little bit about what we mean when we say peace is evasive and what it means to actually go and seek peace in your life. Can we get a definition?
When we're talking about peace, practical peace, we're talking about a combination of things. When we think about peace, we think about tranquility or calmness or quiet, or just a state of well-being. Inner peace is an agreement. This is our definition in the practice. Inner peace is an agreement we make with ourselves to always find a place for freedom, tranquility, harmony, quiet, mutual respect of self and others. And this will always allow us to create a safe space and a sense of security. Now, for a lot of us, that means different things. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And how deeply we can really go into creating a sense of peace in our lives and the importance of that because it affects every area of our lives.
Right. Trying to create peace in our life just takes some effort. And so a lot of times we just want it to exist. But if we don't set our world up for peace, then it's very chaotic. Or if we allow other people to define our current world, then it's chaotic. So when we talk about going after it, it means that you have to plan for it. You have to create it. You have to do something with it.
Define it.
Right. And so when I think about what I did in my own life at the point that I became a single parent and I had I think he was about 2 at the time and he was hitting terrible 2s. And I thought, okay, I need to change our structure. I need to create an environment of peace. And so what I did was create a routine that worked for us. I mean, in the evenings, I'd pick them up and we go to the park, and if it was too cold or the weather wasn't conducive or something like that, then we had designated playtime when we first got home. And then we transitioned into meal prep and eating dinner and then bedtime routines. Then he could go to bed, then I could have time for me. And that usually included doing something. I think I was quilting then or trying to learn how to quilt, reading books, which I love to do, and just having at least an hour to 2 hours where it was just quiet and it was just me and I could prepare myself mentally for the next day.
Yeah.
And so I made a conscious effort to create that environment, to protect it. During that time that I was creating more peace in my life, some friends transitioned out because they were bringing a lot more chaos or
and
things
unnecessary
going on,
stress. Yeah.
And other friends transitioned in that kind of reflected what I was looking for. And so I actually needed to create that and maintain it and was able to do that for us for quite some time. I mean, without the conscious effort, you can lose that ability to create peace. And so it's definitely something that we have to continue to work at.
Yes, and it's very organic if you really understand what the word organic means. We're born as organic beings on this planet, meaning that there's a system already in place. There's a brain, there's a nervous system, there's regulatory things that organically occur in our bodies to reduce hypertension, to reduce stress, to help us self-soothe. And when we really talk about inner peace, we're talking about allowing yourself to not allow the outsides of everything that occurs in our lives to dictate how we feel about ourselves and how we respond to it. Because what happens a lot of times, especially for me, I think for many years, I told Angela, I've struggled with anxiety since childhood. And it's been for the past 10 years that I've been able to manage my anxiety without medication or support because I have all the tools now. I decided to define what was going on in my life first. Then I had to go into really looking at what the tools that were available by going into therapy also myself and getting the resource and information about how to best manage my anxiety that came from my childhood experiences, culture, family, religion, and all these different areas of my life. And in doing that, it really allowed me, when I went through another major crisis about 5 years ago, which I went through a divorce after a 14-year relationship, was to really recognize that this has nothing to do with me, right? This is an outside experience. And what I must do is protect the inner peace that I have and recognize that this transition is a transition, it's change. And I can go through it without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling like I'm under attack, without feeling chaos and chaotic, and without feeling like something is wrong with me. But the fact is that there's things that we have to recognize that are important, such as, for me in that lesson, was that people change. And people are not perfect, and people have free will. And if you understand that, that gives you, again, that's a belief that I made for myself. That became a belief for me, so it gave me room and permission to be myself and recognize that if someone changes, okay, you've changed. If someone decides to go a different direction, like Angela was saying about friendships, a lot of us have to change relationships when we're trying to find our inner peace. Because if someone is disturbing your peace, guess what? They have no room in your life. People have to learn, and we have to educate them and define for them what our peace looks like.
And we have to protect it. I mean, I'm sure during this time when you were transitioning with your divorce, you had to remind yourself of these things. You had to bring yourself back to this state of peace, because it's not perfect. And we will kind of wander off, but if we aren't conscious of the work we're doing and what we need to do for ourselves, we will wander and we'll get lost. And so that's what we do here at Inner Peace. We help you figure out your own peace, what it looks like,
define it,
and how to maintain it.
And how to maintain
because it does take some effort and some conscious work at it. And then also creating an environment where the people you attract continue to build your peace along with their own, like they contribute to your peace without taking it away consciously.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part, because I think for us in our journey as professionals, we work really hard to help people move away from chaos, move away from traumas, move away from triggers, into recognizing that we have permission to maintain the life that we want. And that is what your manifesto represents. The maintenance part is the key things that make sense for us as a whole list, and we'll go through it with you over the next few Facebook Live events and talk a little bit more about those things in the manifesto. But the first part for us was our staple, inner peace. Peace is what drives us as practitioners here at Inner Peace to recognize the importance of it. Because we can't, if we're not peaceful in our lives, we can't help define for you what peace should look like in your life. And there's daily practice. I think Angela and I both have daily practices. I meditate every day. I pray every day. I manage my lifestyle in such a way to maintain my peace so that when interruptions show up, I can manage, I can maintain. I don't have to run or hop in a car and drive miles away or lose it or freak out.
I have a lot of things that actually brings me back. There are things I've discovered that I like to do in the last maybe 5 to 6 years, like painting. I can't paint in the sense of a traditional painter, but when I'm actually doing a paint class or practicing a lesson on my own, I get such peace at it. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just seeing what I can create. And I just enjoy it. And so finding things that help you recenter yourself, reground yourself in your current reality, and allow you to take that piece and swirl it all around. All around is what we, want to
like
help
a
you
warm
do.
blanket. Yeah.
Right. And be able to hold on to it where it's not so much effort, but sometimes it's just gentle reminders to bring yourself back. to that space.
And that's the biggest part of it. Just those gentle reminders are what we call the beliefs. If you're able to recognize a belief in your life and focus on it every day, whether it's through affirmations, which you want to know more about what that looks like, you come to us and we'll teach you. Whether it's, creating a daily mantra or monthly mantra or life mantra, there's just certain things that we have to do. But for me, one of the biggest beliefs has always been to focus on my center, myself, and not allow outside forces to come in. And that's where meditation and mindfulness practices come in. Because I was telling Angela a few weeks ago, someone tried to take my identity. Someone had gotten into my bank account, and I was coming back from a trip of family graduation and got stuck at the airport with no money in my account because someone went and took everything. The old anxious me would have freaked completely out.
Right.
The new refined me with a life manifesto and a practice of living was able to say, Tasha, you don't have all the information. And freaking out is not going to help anything. Freaking out is not going to change anything. Crying and running to the bathroom to throw up because you're so anxious is not going to change anything. So what I need to do is get the information. And that's what we call living in the middle. Because what bad practices of people who don't have strong peace in their life is that we jump from the beginning of an event and we go all the way to the end. And then we forget the worst possible process. And then we forget that we have a middle. And in that middle is where we find our peace. In that middle is where we have room.
And when we are losing it, we usually can't figure out what to do. And so I had one person tell me recently they had a reason to freak out. And I'm like, not really. Like, you were upset, and I get you being upset. But freaking out didn't help you.
That's extreme.
Didn't change the situation, didn't fix it. It was only when this person calmed down, started through, made some key decisions, that it was all taken care of. And so that's why we need that peace, so we can actually think, we can actually problem solve.
Exactly.
We can figure it out. So again, that's what we do here. If you're having trouble finding your own inner peace, finding the things that help you center yourself, then please allow us to help you do that. And like Tasha said, over the next few months, we'll go through the Inner Peace Manifesto and we'll talk about it. If you want more information, please download our ebook off of our website, which is innerpeacecounselingservices.com. So we thank you, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.